technique being developed.
Yeah, so again, I'm trying to make the leg feel elongated. It's very hard, right? All right, and there's a variety of different ways you can do one foot at a time. You can do it in a straddle. There's a variety of ways to do it. And then after they complete that, they slide back and they do a quad set where they try to get their heel off the ground. Come on, get those heels off the ground. Use this muscle. Lift your heels there. There, she got it. It's hard for her, but she can do it. Did you notice that? Go back down to, now go again. And you can pulse this too, go up and down. So you're going to do 10 toe taps, 10 pulses, and 10-second hold. Here we go. Right now. She's nodding at me. She's giving me the nod. I felt right at home. 10 taps. Right? It's getting harder. Tongue's coming out. Slide back. 10 of those. Reaching. Reach on your hips. Moving forward a little bit. Good. There you go. And then 10 pulses. And then 10-second hold. And I guarantee you, if they do this instead of running to the chalk tray and gossiping, you won't have that right. The chest out, the head out, the knees bent, the feet flexed. Other than that's perfect. Not the shapes you want. Doing a bad body position or a bad shape in an exercise doesn't help you get. It doesn't all of a sudden the light goes on and you fix all that. That's my opinion. You break the skill down and you do things like this to make it come out better. So I'm going to give you the answer to that chest out thing, not the shapes you want. Doing a bad body position or a bad shape in an exercise doesn't help you get, it doesn't all of a sudden the light goes on and you fix all that. That's my opinion. You break the skill down and you do things like this to make it come out better. So I'm going to give you the answer to that chest out thing. And when you be hard, just stay there. Guys, take your time coming up. She's going to stay there for a while. Pushing, pushing, pushing. Rounding your back. Head cap shape. Pushing, pushing. It's pretty simple, but it's very, very effective. And now we're going to do a blind change. Tell me what the scenario is. And what's funny is all of a sudden we as coaches get really uptight about the head being out and chest being out when we go to do a blind change because we know bad stuff's going to happen. Jump, hop. Try that again. Hop. Good. So what happened? Did you notice that she went like that? That was sound effects. Why did she stop?
She's tightening up and hollowing.
Where's the energy going? Up. So when Nasi does a cast, when you see the end of the cast, what's the bar doing? Why?
She's pressing up.
Energy's going up. So I guarantee you take your kids, when you go home, take a floor bar and tell them to do straddle up and hop the floor bar off the ground. And then have them try to do it on the bar. It's amazing. It's amazing. And straight body cast too. You know, kick up, knee and center and hop. So anyway, watch the bar. A little bit there, but it'll really bounce right there. See it? Right there. Right there. What's happening? As she's landing on the back leg, there's a strike, and there should be an acceleration. I hear coaches say, you're not kicking your back leg. Well, if you land on that back leg in a hurdle and you squat on it, you're going to kick your back leg? No. The back leg kick is a reaction to that strike. If you strike in the right posture, with the hips rotated under, and as you will watch it again, you'll see as she hurdles, her hips rotate under, and she flexes or gathers up her back leg, then it strikes the floor, and then it's going to have a dodge. Then it's moved, right? Now, what this kid does wrong, the reason why I have her on here, is she doesn't get off that back leg well, and she doesn't get over to her front leg. She doesn't get an appropriate weight transfer. That's one of those critical areas. Have I lost everybody already? So hurdle, posture in the hurdle. Big dip forward, big dip backwards, bad news. Something that reflects the run posture, good news. Upon strike, it's got to happen. That's a major acceleration. Back leg to front leg. So we're going to watch right there. See how she hangs back a little bit. She's not transferring over the front leg. See where her knee is? Her knee's behind her foot. So where's her roundup going? It's going up. It's going to, now as that leg straightens, her hip's going to go up. She's not going to get enough momentum coming onto the board. So the good news is she is going to elevate pretty good onto the board. Right? Use this leg to push this hand out as far as it possibly can go. So do a cartwheel. Okay, so now let's do an experiment. If that leg straightens and moves backwards, I want you to do a cartwheel like this. Let's see where her hand goes. Straighten your leg. It starts to rotate back around. So is it a conscious where she puts her hands, or is it that she didn't use her legs properly? And it actually starts with a back leg in the hurdle. Back leg squat or poor position. Don't get over your front leg, you're flip turning. No doubt about it. Does that make sense? Where do we teach this weight transfer? From back leg to front leg in a hurdle. Where's the first place you can teach it? Come on, guys. Give me some help here. Okay, here I'll show you. This is really simple. I hope you can do this. Okay, side cartwheel. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to bend this leg, then go over to this leg and do a cartwheel. Okay, now I want you to do 2 cartwheels in a row. And as you land your first one, you bend, transfer, push. Bend, transfer, push. That's where you teach it to a beginner. Okay, so what's she doing? Well, then you explode. That's the simplest way to teach it. Okay, one of the problems we have when I talk about getting on, hurdling and landing on your back leg and accelerating, how many kids can skip as fast as they can run? Not very many. When you do a hurdle, what is it in its simplest form? A skip. So when kids run, they're not dumb. They slow down to hurdle. Right? A lot of them do that because they can't, their hurdle can't keep up with the run. And then some of them, their hurdle can't keep up with the run and they don't slow down. Right there. Okay, so a couple things we have to look at. One, what's her posture? Okay. 2, where is she on the board? What's the board look like, guys? It's rounded, right? Over here, facing back that way. Then it goes flat, and then it actually rounds down slightly, facing the other way. Everybody get that? Okay, so if we were doing a front vault, where does it make sense to land? To get an angle of reflection. It's an angle, right? So we come in, and I always hear this too, coaches are crazy about kids on front vaulting landing up on the top of the board. No way. You'll never see a good vaulter on the very top of the board in front vaulting. Why? It's flat. There's nothing to put it. You can't use something to punch you against. You're going to use that angle. It's an angle of attack and an angle of reflection. Okay, what about Yurchenko? Going back and forth. And you're going to see almost universally the great Yurchenko vaulters are on the top of the board. They're never down in the middle and never down on the face. And conversely, the great front vaulters are on that angle. They're not on top of the board. Okay, so that's one checkpoint. And she's done okay. Notice she's a little low. You're going to see the other kids up higher. And because she's a little low, when she gets onto the table, she's going to gain her a little bit. Okay, but this is one of my very serious checkpoints also. Hold on. The other thing I'm looking for is her posture. So I want a rounded hip under posture, right? As opposed to a pike and a posture. And I'll show you why. Okay, so here, your hands, pike forward, arch your back. Ready? All right, now, same thing, roll your hip under. Different, right? See how the weight bearing in her body? As soon as she rotates her hips under, the butt tightens, stomach in, she's going to be able to stand and tighten and bounce. If I could have all of you stand up. Come on, we're doing it. And now we're going into the board. What makes us go up? This is a Tom Forster thing I love doing. I wish I had a ball so I could show you this. He takes a ball and he throws it down on the ground and the ball bounces up. He says, how can I make the ball go higher? Well, you throw it down harder. The ball goes higher. How else can you make it go higher? Put more air in it. Make it tighter. Make it more resilient. So when we hit that board, that tailbone's got to be under, butt's got to be tight, and she did a pretty good job on. And notice I'm not saying anything about arms yet. Next checkpoint from now. Stop it there. Did her back or hips ever get closer to the table? When you watch this film, this is one of the, if I had to pick out one thing to look at, of all the things I'm talking about, the back leg strike, get over the front leg, push up and forward, position on the board, I'd look at this one. Because universally, every great vaulter, the distance between their body and the table does not get closer. The relationship between the butt and the hips and the lower back. They move away, they elevate, they go up. They never slide. Because if you think about it, the table sits higher than the center of the mass of the athlete on the springboard, right? It's scientific. All that means is you've got to go up to make room for your hands to go on the table. You've got to go up. All right? The run establishes your horizontal momentum. The push down on the board establishes what? You're going up. So one thing you'll see. Now, the hand checkpoint here, from board to table, the checkpoint is, did the back slide in closer? Who's got kids that slide across the table every once in a while? You know, they hit and their hands slip. They slide. You know why? Their center of mass is not going up. It's going backward. So, and there's no room for their arms. And she got in a position to get after it. Here's the drill, because I don't think this is on my drill film. Stand on one leg, your vertical leg. What you're going to do is you're going to get ready to catch her. All right, so this is one of my favorite drills for recovering the back leg and learning how to be aggressive off your back leg to your front leg. Now, she won pretty easy because it's a hard surface and all that, but what I tell her is you've got to go medium, you've got to go fast, fast, faster, faster. You get that? Faster. Here we go. Build speed, build speed. Now, what she did is she started this again, the head's up, and it causes a buckle in her shoulders and her arms. A slight buckle. She wasn't as good. That's the difference between those two vaults, really, because the rest of it, I think, is better. This part's better, right here, right there, bam. And now she's over the front leg, then the front leg's going to work. Front leg right there, boom, the hips go in. And all I'm looking at on the end of the runway is the alignment, down the line. I'm looking to see if the leg swinging this one. Who's got this? Mm-hmm. All right, if you do this well, how hard is it to do that? You can't. It's very hard. Push. So they're pushing down the line and not getting a crossover. How do you fix a crossover, guys? If you've got the stubborn leg cross thing, who's got it? Where are her hips? They're way up there. Right? And then the goal is you just got to leave out of vertical. I'm not talking about that. Her hip position, slightly out of whack. All right, so I look at the relationship between, let's go backwards. Relationship between, backwards. It's not listening. You tell them, hey, you're one of the Yurchenko football, like the big girls. You put a low beam, about so high, 8 inches. We've all got one of those. You put a springboard on a panel mat and a couple mats behind it, and they stand on the beam, and their hands go on the end of the beam, and they do a roundup to the springboard, and they're going downhill on a roundup, which is great for a little kid, because that way they won't pipe and learn bad shapes, and they do a rebound. So what have I done? Can they cross over? Okay, then you stick them at the end of the beam, and you tell them to do a hurdle to a roundup. They're only going to cross their leg over one time. That's not a good time. So what I've done now as a poor and level 5 athlete is I have set up an environment, and I talk about this all the time. Environmental teaching methods are the best way to go with little kids. As they get older, you have to be able to communicate with them. As they're younger, it's like just give them a dog treat. Every time they do something good, you put them in a good alignment that they have to do. Okay, so one other thing that I did mention in hurdle, and I'm going to stop right now because we're going to move into drills. I would like you to start here. I'm talking about speed skip. So don't crash into the wall. Okay, but let me see you skip really fast. Skip. Really? All right. So.